So sometime later, as a result of promoting the Rosary, there's a great book, the handbook, The Secret of the Rosary. Have anyone read it? By St. Louis, Montfort also. And we got these by the 1,000, and you get a free book. One of the free books we got was called Pro-Life Christians. And in that it had every possible way of approaching abortion and solutions that were done in America, which was about 10 years ahead of certainly ahead of Ireland. Back in 1994. So one of the people in that book was called Conrad Wojcner, and he had been in the Legion of Mary. He had taken on the true devotion to Mary, and he had devotion to St. Jude, which I identified with a patron of hopeless cases. So all the checkboxes were going off, and I immediately contacted him. I flew to his centre in Chicago, and that's the biggest women's counselling centre in the world, and it saved tens of thousands, over 84,000 at least, babies from abortion, and that was back in those days. I don't know how many since 1994. So I did training there, I learned how to do it. Meanwhile, we had, with my wife's permission, we put an ad in the Yellow Pages. You remember in those days people had the Yellow Pages. So if you were looking for an abortion in Ireland, you'd open up family planning. So I got your permission to...
I felt guilty about this ever after, but I said, Eamonn wanted to put a big ad on the Golden Pages, and I said, no, just put a small ad in. And so because I felt so guilty about that for all the years afterwards, I always put a big ad in. But I said to Eamonn, it's not going to work. It's crazy.
Nobody will come.
Nobody will come. They'll go to the well woman or somewhere. They won't come to us. But I was so wrong. We were extremely busy for many years.
Is that it? Very good. So we had this small ad to begin with the first year, and then after that we had pretty much full page ads. So we knocked everybody else off the page. Irish Family Planning, the Well Woman, Mary Stokes were just pushed off. So we were the first, and everybody was ringing, and they were all looking for abortions. And just to explain, we were what were we? We were sheep in wolves' clothing.
No. Yes.
Yeah? We're not sure yet. We're still mixed up. So the Irish Family Planning have nothing to do with Ireland, they have nothing to do with families, and they have nothing to do with planning. But they're a British organisation set up to kill babies and destroy families. So they are definitely wolves in sheep's clothing. And it really disturbed them when they saw the sheep, ourselves, were stealing their game by appearing as they were like a family planning clinic, which we did to help people to, if they were interested in natural family planning or whatever. So we were kind of, we were attacked, pretty much. But the first attack wasn't the worst. In fact, it seemed like the worst. The first cut of the deep, it wasn't too bad after that. And the first attack was kind of, it was Sunday Tribune or something. Somebody from the North wrote an article, and they said we were showing people abortion pictures, we were showing videos, and they just couldn't believe that we had the audacity to do that. But it's all in the manner in which you do something, how effective it is. So we had a mission statement which was adapted from the one in Chicago, and this will explain exactly how Our Lady worked. And I'll tell you what it was. And it's through and with Mary, mediatrix of all graces, to mediate the mission of motherhood, using the most effective, morally acceptable means to reach, inform, and help the mothers. And that's it. Every word is essential to that. In other words, it's Mary's motherhood of these women and their children, and she calls us to cooperate. It's Marian cooperation. And that's what Mary has been doing. Marian cooperation is Our Lady's cooperation with the Trinity, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. And we were entering into that. We had invitation or the grace to do that. So the fact is, the mission, each one of you have a mission which only you can fulfill, even in this day. Another great quotation from St. Paul of the Ephesians: you are God's masterpiece, you are God's, the Greek word poema. Our Lady is the most greatest masterpiece of the Trinity, poema. So anyway, this is the mission statement: true and with Mary, mediatrix of all graces, to mediate the mission of motherhood. And you really cannot change anyone, as much as you want to, until they are ready to change. They won't change until they see good reasons. And we were not equipped to do this. We didn't have diplomas, degrees in counselling or whatever, but we had, depending on Our Lady, we had dependence on Our Lady. That is the key to grace. So, again, because she was the mother, she already had those babies as her children, and we just had to try to convey that to the actual physical, biological mother. Do you want to add anything to that when you were going into the counselling?
Yeah, well, just I'm a person who by nature can be a nervous wreck, and so every time a girl came to the door, I'd be kind of but so if I was doing the counselling, I didn't do it for about a year. I was too scared. But anyway, when I was doing the counselling, we would bring them downstairs, do a pregnancy test, bring them upstairs, and I'd go back down, and I'd go in. We had a prayer room. Sometimes there was a sacrament there, but sometimes not. And I'd go into the prayer room, and I'd be totally wrecked, and I'd say to Our Lady, I can't do this, I can't do this, you have to do it for me. And when I'd be seeing the girl, then afterwards I'm doing the counselling, I'd be asking Our Lady at the same time inside, I'd be asking her to let the girl see her, not me, you know, and let the girl hear her, and not me, because I thought my voice is terrible and my hair is terrible and so on. So the thing is, it's unbelievably that a person like me, when I was like, I was able to do it, and Our Lady did do it. It wasn't that I was able to do it. Our Lady did do the counselling for me. It's unbelievable, because I'd ring them up afterwards to find out how they were getting on, and they would be keeping the baby. And I couldn't believe that so many of them were keeping the baby after being so determined. One girl said, I'm 100% sure I'm going to have an abortion. This was after the counselling. So I didn't expect that she would eventually keep the baby, but another one of our counsellors lived near her, and she watched her, and she saw her, and she saw the baby, and saw it getting bigger, and then she saw the baby and the girl out of the baby and all that. So this was Our Lady, it wasn't me. You know, I was just the body that was making myself available. But do you want me to say anything else? I've just run out.
Even her hair lovely, she just got a haircut. So that's a good example. You know, we met so many wonderful people who had not just did the primary school. They weren't professionals, they didn't have degrees in this, that or the other. They were ordinary people who knew they were ordinary, and they depended on Our Lady. And that's the key to any work that you undertake. It's to let Our Lady do the work. Step aside, just put yourself aside. And that's really power. It's incredible power. Now, we just started off one at a time. If the one person, the first client, first person, that was the most important person in the world. And then it went 1, 2, 3, and so on. And we didn't plan to, you know, go global or anything like that. But it happened because Our Lady was the power there. And it spread to London, and it spread to Belgium, it spread to Vienna, and to Madrid. And it's very incredible, it's very humbling, but it all depended on the consecration to Our Lady, the true devotion to Mary. And the point I wanted to make about that is, you've heard this saying, God doesn't need our ability, but our availability. And that's the truth. There's nobody in this room that couldn't do a better job than I did. That's the truth. If you take out the true devotion, right? Nobody certainly that couldn't do. Yeah, is that what I said? Nobody here who couldn't do a better job than me. Yeah, that's the truth. I'm not making that up. There's not one person in this room that couldn't have done a better job. Because if we were used so much by Our Lady, I'm sure every single one of you would be used as much and more. I believe that, really. I don't. What are you surprised about? No, I'm saying everyone here could do a better job. That's the truth. No, I must be making a mistake. So what I'm saying is, I believe every single person here who takes on the true devotion to Mary will do a better job than we did.
That's better.
That's what I meant to say. So you better edit that out, okay? So I know, the reason I'm saying that is because I believe, I made a Holocaust victim oblation to divine mercy, merciful love of God, around the same time as the true devotion, back in 1977. This was an act which St. Therese of Lisieux made. You know the act, the oblation to merciful love? She offered herself as a victim soul to merciful love. So I recommend you to do that also. And basically what it's saying is that what St. Therese said was she was spoiled by God. He really lavished his mercy on her. And I feel the same thing has happened.